I'm writing to let you know that last night's heavy rain caused a leak in my living room ceiling. I'm attaching pictures of the damage below. The ceiling looks very bad. One more heavy rainstorm could cause a lot more damage if not addressed. Can you please help expedite this repair? Thank you.
Wow, I never want to get a text message like that from a tenant. That's why preventative maintenance is so important. In this video, we're going to discuss roof maintenance for apartment buildings, especially flat roofs. If you neglect flat roof maintenance, the likelihood that you will experience pests, mold, water damage will increase, not to mention all the safety issues that might arise. With that in mind, in this video, we're going to discuss the following topics. How long does a flat roof last? So we're going to talk about the lifespan, the typical lifespan of a roof. And what are the most common types of flat roofs? Here we're going to talk about the different materials that are used to build a roof. What are some of the causes of roof issues in flat roofs? So what are the kind of things that cause damage to your roof? What are the kind of things that you have to look out for? What can your building maintenance staff do to maintain the roof? So what should your building staff look for? Or maybe even you, what if you go up there on the roof? What are you supposed to look for? That's what we're going to take a look at. And what can a roofer do to maintain your roof? And how often should a roofer inspect and maintain flat roofs? How many times a year and when during the year should he come in and inspect the roof? Now, if you just want to get to the parts where you want to see what kind of maintenance you need to do, you can skip ahead. Why are we discussing flat roofs here and not pitched roofs? Well, most apartment buildings and commercial buildings in general in urban areas are usually flat roofs. Especially here in New York, most of the apartment buildings are flat roofs. And there's advantages to flat roofs. For example, building staff can inspect flat roofs more regularly because the level surfaces make it easier to shovel snow, clean debris, and clear out gutters. So now look at the picture. The HVAC unit is on top of the flat roof. If this was a pitched roof, you couldn't put it on the roof, so you'd have to put it on a ground level. The flat roof has the advantage of being able to put a lot of large devices on the roof, freeing up space on the ground level. Because when you have a lot of devices on the ground level, it looks unkempt, it looks kind of junky. That's one of the advantages of a flat roof, is that it frees up ground space. Flat roofs typically last between 10 to 20 years. And that depends a lot on the climate, the material that is used to build the flat roof, and also the maintenance that you do. So if you want to be on the longer side of that range, make sure that you get maintenance done. Now, before we're going to highlight some of the common issues with flat roofs for apartment buildings or roofs for commercial buildings in general, I just want to show you here the different kinds of materials that are used for flat roofs. And I'm not going to discuss this in much detail because this is really outside the scope of what this video is about. We're talking about maintenance here. But the reason I'm showing you this is just I want to make you aware of that some materials are more durable and last longer than others. Some are more vulnerable to leaks than others. Some are better than others in protecting against UV rays. But the thing to keep in mind is that these different types of commercial roofs have advantages and disadvantages, and the maintenance is going to be a little bit different depending on the type of material. And some require less maintenance and some require more maintenance. Let's start with bitumen. Bitumen has to be torched on, but you can also use asphalts or cold adhesives to attach it. It's made from asphalt. This is built-up roofing where you add layers of ply sheets and asphalt on top of each other. This is single-ply roofing, which doesn't require torching or hot asphalt during the installation process. It's made from rubber and other synthetics. There are different types of single-ply roofing depending on the type of chemicals used. This one is PVC. And this one is single-ply roofing, TPO. What are some of the causes for roof issues in flat roofs? Well, the number one cause obviously is exposure to the elements. We're talking about sun, wind, rain, snow, and this damages the materials that are on the roof. And beyond exposure, a couple other crucial contributing factors exist, such as settling, or if you have poor drainage, and also the materials on the roof when they expand and contract due to temperature fluctuations. With all this in mind, what can maintenance staff do to maintain the roof? So if your maintenance staff is going up on the roof and inspecting, or let's say you go up there and you're looking for something, what are you going to look for? What do you have to pay attention to? Well, if there's rust, if there's leaks, if there are raised seams, if there are cracks, if there's bubbles, and there's blisters. So for example, in this picture over here, you see how there's air trapped underneath the layer of material? That's called blistering. This does eventually cause water damage. Here's something else you're looking for, ponding. That's where, the water, when there's rain, is just collecting and it kind of like caves in. And at first it's a little puddle, but then it becomes bigger and deeper. Of course, this can cause a lot of damage. So what you need to install a proper drainage system. Here's another thing that you have to watch out for. When after a storm or after some time, debris starts to collect on your roof. Dirt, leaves, branches, and then they start to block the drains. So this traps moisture on your rooftop and causes mold and algae to grow, and it starts to damage the surface and increase the likelihood of leaks. So what do you need to do? You need to clean the area around the drains and just clean the roof in general, especially after a storm. And just make sure that the drains and the gutters don't have anything that are like an obstruction. I mentioned this before very briefly. When two pieces of roofing material are connected, this is referred to as a seam. So look in the picture how you see there's like two seams next to each other. These can be very susceptible to leaks if they're not attached properly. So additionally, as previously mentioned, with exposure to the elements, the sun's UV rays can cause damage and cracks over time. Another important action item when it comes to flat roof maintenance for commercial buildings is to replace the flashing. You see how in the picture it's like a thin material. It's made usually out of galvanized steel. And what it does is it redirects the water flowing away from vulnerable areas of the building. If you had it there previously and it became loose or it has deterioration, usually from excess moisture exposure, then you're going to have to replace it. So when do you want your roof to be inspected by a roofer? You want them to be inspected during the spring and the fall. You want the roof inspected after the cold winter months, which cause a lot of wear and tear on the materials on your roof. And also you want it to be inspected after a hot summer, which also causes a lot of damage potentially. So these are the best times to have it inspected. Now, if there's just one thing I want you to remember about this presentation, please don't wait until there's a leak in someone's ceiling. I just want to have you avoid this headache. Although maintenance and repairs pull you in many directions, I understand that. You have You have so many expenses and so many things to do on your to-do list. The maintenance it's expensive and it can be time consuming, but just think about the difference between completing maintenance twice per year and having to deal with a tenant who has a leak in their ceilings. So if they have a leak in their ceiling, then the ceiling has to be repaired. If there's any mold damage or mold destruction to their apartment, that has to be resolved. Not to mention, now you have all the headaches from the tenant. That's why I always encourage you to get the maintenance done. Be proactive and plan maintenance in your budget. How often do you check your rooftop? And do you know what to look for? Leave a comment below. Before I let you go, just one thing I want to mention to you. If you found this video helpful, please give us a like, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel. We are Premises Guardian, a property management company based in New York City. We can help you manage your buildings, lower your violations, increase your profitability, and give you more satisfied tenants. If you want to learn more about our services, please click on the link in the video description below. That will take you to our page on our website where you can speak to one of our team members and learn more about our services. In the meantime, best of luck managing your buildings, and I hope this video was helpful.